Good morning or good day. Welcome to day 13 of our Advent calendar series. Let's get to opening our page for today, December 13th. Okay, what's it going to be? Okay, so it looks like it is a little tea light lantern. Cool. Okay. I will Google translate this just to make sure that I am accurate in what I'm saying, and then we'll take a look at the page. While you're looking at the page, I will Google translate. So indeed, Google Translate confirms that this is a pyramid battery light. So we are going to be making a little ornament for the table. Basically, it's going to end up looking like a pyramid, and we will place a tea light underneath it to give it a bit of illumination. Okay, after doing a little bit more looking at the outline of this, I did realize that, I'll zoom you in. When we're making this, there are a bunch of little areas on each side that we are actually going to cut out, so there will be like little windows, and that's how the light's actually going to shine through. So these 4 little areas we'll be cutting out with an X-Acto knife, and that's where the light will shine through. So that's important for me to understand how the light's going to shine through. I was thinking I was going to have to use very light colors on the pyramid to make it work, but now that I see that there's actually some significant light going to be able to come through, I don't have to worry as much about my color choices. I'm going to deviate from what I normally do, which would be reach for my polychromos or a colored pencil, and instead I'm going to try and tackle some of this with an alcohol marker. I have some new Ohuhu 48, 2 sets of 48 brush tip alcohol markers. I don't generally use alcohol markers, so we will be testing those out on this page, and let's get started. Show you while I'm completing the evergreen trees that are in the center here. I'm using 2 Ohuhu greens. The first is a lighter green. It's number 333, and it's called blue green, completing that over the whole tree. And then for the shadow areas underneath the boughs of the tree, I am using green grass, which is 356. So I'll just complete this last one together, and then we'll move on. Not getting any smell from these, which is great. These are a brush and a chisel marker. The brush isn't overly flexible, but that's okay right now. And I'm just coming in while it's still wet and adding a bit. And I'm adding a tree trunk. I'm working on these little lambs here, and I don't have a really light gray in the Ohuhu markers, so I've pulled out my light gray for the cool gray number 2 for the zig markers. So I'm just gonna do a combination of both, because I want these guys to have light gray hair. This guy has little horns. A light pink for the faces. Ooh, that's kind of really pink. Maybe I'll cover it in gray as well to tone it down a bit. There, that's better. And then I want dark gray for the ears. So today's questions are going to be related to each of these little pyramid sections we're doing. So one is, have you ever seen a live sheep? Do you live near a rural area, or do you see live sheep? Or are you a city person and maybe you've only seen them on the movies? But I just wondered if you've seen a live sheep. I'm going to use just a really pale lavender, and I'm just going to do the tops of the trees, and I'm going to come in with some stickles because they're snow covered. I'm going to put some of that purple on the bottom as well, and then also some of the gray. There we go. I'll grab the stickles. I loved adding just a little bit of color underneath the stickles to give it a bit of dimension. That part is done, and let's switch to the next section. Okay, the next section is going to be this deer. So we've got a tree in the background, so and it's got looks like some white on the tree, so I'm gonna be careful of that. Grab the stickles and apply it. So where there is snow, there is stickles. So I've got two colors here I'm going to use for the deer. I've got a golden brown and a khaki. So I'm going to do this part of the deer in the golden brown, and then his head and his chest area will be in the khaki. Little rabbit here. Now, the rabbit is supposed to be white because it is winter. So, what I'm going to do is just a lightly gray, so at least he has some color on him. Snow area, we will get the lightest blue I can find. The next section is a little house, little cabin. These zig are wonderful for such tiny areas. The tip, the brushes are so small. The fourth little section is a sleigh with some presents. There we go. I'm finding that the activity days are much quicker to do, to film, to edit than the coloring pages. This is a bronze jelly roll. Trying to use some non-traditional colors. Green and red get a lot of work out. So my next question is, have you ever ridden on a sleigh? That would be a horse-drawn sleigh, or maybe I don't know, maybe there's another kind of sleigh. There doesn't seem to be any snow on these ones, so we may have a section with no stickles on it. Okay, to finish off this pyramid light, I am going to use my dragonfly glaze. I have poured some out onto my palette, and I am picking it up with a paintbrush, and I am painting directly over top of both the evergreen trees areas and also over top of all of the white of the paper that will be showing through, including the ground. So anywhere that there's snow on the ground, I'm going to paint that. If there's not snow, I will leave that unpainted. I'll have to be a little bit careful there. Not being too careful about these hole areas because we are going to cut those out with an X-Acto knife. So, and this is a blue-green shift, so even though there's nothing painted, or sorry, colored on the whites, there's still going to be the shine of the glitter. This is also excellent if you are working in a double-sided coloring book, because it doesn't leave behind a lot of texture on the paper. This area is already done. You can see it there. I'll continue on with this last section, then we'll start cutting it out, and we're almost done this project. Almost forgot about the star that's going to go on top of our pyramid. Just going to color it, and then I will also put the folk art dragon glaze on that as well. And it has two sides, so I will do both sides exactly the same. I'll let it dry before I apply the dragonfly glaze, just because these are a water-based marker. I almost forgot. I need to take a Signo gel pen and color all of the dots that are going to be snow. So after I do that, then I will cut out the light pyramid. Okay, this is all cut out. I still have the two little toppers to cut out. I'm just waiting for them to dry a little bit more. And the stickles is actually just dry now. So I'm going to fold it, and the instructions are here. So these trees fold up so that they end up sticking out to the that area. So I'll do some creasing and some folding. Okay, in order to fold this up, I'm first folding and creasing this side, and then folding and creasing that side, and then we have to fold each one in along each dotted line. So everywhere there's a dotted line, there will be a fold. And they'll end up going together like that. So I'll keep folding, placing a bead of glue along all of the side edges. And if you let the glue sit for a little minute, it'll get a little tackier. So I will hang tough, and we will glue them all together. And just holding that for a minute. And we're finished. Quick recap on all the materials we used on today's activity. We used 5 Ohuhu alcohol markers, a bunch of the Zig Clean brush markers, a couple of gel pens, an X-Acto knife, 2 paint brushes, some stickles, some Elmer's clear glue, some dragonfly glaze, and we're going to be using a tea light. Okay, let's show you how it's looking. I attached the star item with a pin so it can come on or off. This is what it's looking like. It sets right on top of the tea light. In fact, let's turn the lights off.